Mark, I work at one of the Apple retail store, and for the last couple of weeks, lots of people kept asking me, especially my clients at one of the Apple retail store. They asked me about, okay, now they got certain amounts of money, and Apple had decided to release two products almost exactly the same time, which are the iPad and the iPhone 4. And then they asked me about which ones should they go for, like whether to get the iPhone 4s or the iPad. For this review, I'm not going to go deeper into the specification or very sophisticated or complicated detail, because these details could be read through the Apple websites already. But as a friend, I'm going to give you one short and sweet answer. Don't go for the iPhone 4. Okay? It wasn't ready to be officially released, to be perfectly honest. I have read the numbers, tons of reviews throughout the internet. I've been doing some research. I've spoken to Apple engineer. The thing is, the iPhone 4 is only, in general, only 30% faster than the previous iPhone 3GS. Okay? Why I told you that you should not buy the iPhone 4? Because, firstly, let's get into the deeper detail. Who cares about a Retina display? Because it's 3.5 inch anyway, pretty much the same as the iPod Touch. Who cares about multitasking? The screen is so tiny, and the processor is very slow, and you don't have 2 gigs or 4 gigs of RAM. What can you do? Who cares about the iMovie on the iPhones? Because you will get a very short timeline, and it's like a stripped down version. Who cares about the front-facing camera? Because in order to do long-distance chat using the front-face camera, is only available through Wi-Fi connectivity, and it's only available between iPhone 4 user only. Okay, so the thing is, that's the bottom line. To be perfectly honest, I'm going to tell you the secret. It wasn't ready to be released. If you really check on the internet, spend one day, like me, reading all the things that are available about iPhone 4, now we have found some big problems due to the improper located antenna inside the phones. Okay, so the signal can be increasingly decreases still down due to certain ways of holding it. So trust me, my friends, it's not going to worth your money. It doesn't mean when Apple releases something, you gotta try to catch up all the time, running, and buy the things. Okay, iPhones and iPhone 4s and iPad, in terms of the processor, they are identical. They call this processor A4. Okay, but the thing is, Apple has not unveiled the speed of this processor, whereas the iPad, they said, okay, that's fine, 1 gigahertz for the iPad. The RAM's pretty much the same, 512 megabytes. Okay, but some website has released some benchmark in terms of the speed. The iPhone 4, it appears some sort of significant results that the iPhone 4 is slower than the iPad. So please, to be perfectly honest, you know what? Long times ago, my very good friends, he was some sort of like directors in Asia Pacific. I went to his seminars. I've spoken to him directly about Apple products at that time, like 6 years ago, and then he asked me one question. He said, "Mark, can you tell me what exactly is the iPod?" I said, well, iPod is some sort of MP3 player. And he said, no, you were wrong, Mark. iPod is not an MP3 player. iPod is an iPod. Apple buy the iPod. People use the iPod because for a number of reasons. Firstly, the design. Sometimes we can feel significant. We can get self-esteem. Okay, on Apple product, it's look nice. The design, Apple brand. How we control this, the control panels, whatever. Click wheel. But if you want to spend some amount of money, you might be able to pay 1/4 of the iPod price in order to get an MP3 player from Creative or Sony's or whatever, Samsung, Logitech, whatever. So same as the iPhone. The price is extremely expensive, and to be perfectly, it's not the best PDAs in the world, honestly. And if you want to buy an iPhone like a gaming device, I mean including the iPod Touch, you know what? Why don't you just pause a few moments and then reply to your brains that what the fuck am I doing here? Because the thing is, you can spend even much less than that, and then you can buy the Nintendo NVS. You can buy even a desktop game console. Okay, because I'm a big fan of gaming. I've been playing tons of games all my life for 30 years, so we knew about games. So let's say about the iPad. The thing is, if you really read news about an Amazon's Kindle and also numbers of ebook readers, now Amazon has decided to lower the price for the existing models of the Kindle's ebook readers lower than $200. So now the actual market price is 179 US compared to the entry level of the iPad, which is 499 for the regular Wi-Fi versions. So do one thing, my friends. If you really want an ebook readers, honestly, I would suggest firstly, you download the PDF and read that ebook from your computer monitors. Okay? But if you really want to read things on the road, you always travel all the time, I would suggest to go for Kindle. Apple defines the names, the specific name in terms of terminologies of the iPad. They call this thing, well, in general, I can say it's not exactly a combination of computers and iPhone. No, it's a mobile internet device. If you want to buy the iPad, do not buy the Wi-Fi. Okay, it's a waste of money. If you want to buy the iPad, I would suggest to go for 3G. Probably you are a business person. Checking mail is fine. You can use BlackBerry. You can use the iPhone 3GS or even the iPod Touch through Wi-Fi. Okay, but if you need a larger screen, like if you want to probably, well, for stock market, probably yes, that's fine. But this can be checked also. It kind of confused even myself. For me personally, I will not buy the iPad. I will not buy the iPhone 4. Okay, you know what? I don't want to persuade you to not to buy Apple products. Okay, but I would be willing to be your friends, your buying friends. That I want you to spend your money nicely and spend smart. Okay, because you can save this amount of money whether for the iPod or whether for the iPhone, and then you can buy the latest version of the MacBooks or MacBook Pros, and then you can keep your money to do something else. Probably your kids' education. Probably you can buy some things for your life, or you can keep your money for your retirement mutual plan or something. Okay, so lastly, the summary should be: don't go for the iPhone 4 right now. It wasn't ready because they have decided to quicken the process. Then they have decided to release that, even though it wasn't ready. Because have you ever heard about the leaks? The leak reviews, also the turn downs, the leak specifications, the leak everything about the iPhone 4 that has to leak out to a number of websites. Okay, if they wait a bit longer, it would be even more people who had seen these things. So we want to stop this to spread out. So decide to release it, even though it wasn't ready. But it contains a number of flaws. That's why. Go for the iPad 3G, not the Wi-Fi, or keep your money for a next version of your Mac to upgrade your Mac. I'm your friends, old friends, Mark. I'm gonna do more. Thanks for watching.